Welcome to the third episode of the About the Cards podcast. Welcome. We're excited to be here tonight with you. I have our excellent co-host with me tonight. We have a super collector, Ben Wilson, and of course, as always, Junk Wax twins, Stefan is here with us tonight. How are we doing tonight, fellas?
Doing great.
I'm doing better than Stefan, so if he's great, I am amazing.
And I forgot to introduce myself, Big Shep, your Royals and George Brett collector. We just wanted to welcome everybody to our third episode, like I said, and we are just let you know a little bit about us. We're a podcast for collectors by collectors, and we hope to bring you a smart and insightful podcast every time that we do one of these. We do them live every Wednesday here on YouTube at 8 p.m. Or 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can always follow us on Twitter about the cards to find out when we, when our shows are going live, as well as you could subscribe to us on YouTube, and it will send you an announcement when we do go live. We're also available on iTunes and Stitcher under About the Cards podcast, as well as we're going to be on the Google Play Store shortly. And please review and subscribe on all those platforms and let us know how we're doing today. So, Ben.
Yeah, I want to throw a quick shout out to everybody that's chosen to listen. We really appreciate it, whether it's a half a show or a full show, or if you've listened to all three shows that we currently have, including our dry run, which was episode 0. We want to thank guys like Dan with Mojo Break, who's one of the best breakers in the business, for listening, and he's given us praise as well for our show. We really appreciate all of the feedback, whether it's privately or through Twitter. Not only feedback, but some things we could work on, which is always nice. If the sound quality or if we're rambling too much, it's always nice to know what our listeners and fellow collectors are looking for in a podcast, because we really are, like Tim said, we are collectors for collectors. So if there's anything anybody ever wants to listen to or talk about, we're definitely open to ideas. And so I definitely want to thank everybody that is currently listening and will be listening in the future. We really appreciate the support.
Yeah, a quick shout out also to James the lawyer as well. He said this week on Twitter that he does work from home a lot, but he does have a days in where he drives to work. And we moved up to the number 1 poll position in his podcast listening. So, hey, James, I appreciate that. And thank you very much for listening and the support. And, let us know if there's something you want us to talk about or bring up. We're definitely willing to do that. And I know that we've reached out to a few other collectors here to talk about specifics, and hopefully we're going to be getting some interviews and have those folks on with us and be able to share this experience. But guys, let's get into it. The week that was, last week's releases, a big thing we got a lot of response is our Topps Living updates. And I think not a lot of people have been real familiar with Topps Living as it's starting to grow, and we're seeing that week by week. And I think we're doing a good thing here, letting people know and being able to let so they don't miss out on their guy, and then they have to go and pay 3, 4, 5, 6, 12 times what they could have bought the card directly from Topps or some of these third-party sellers on eBay. But last week we had Juan Soto had a rookie card come out. He sold 28,572 cards, almost 29,000 cards. Bartolo Colon sold over 5,600, and Brad Peacock sold over 5,400. So where do you think that Soto popped into the top 5 cards sold? He's in the top 5, but where do you think he stands?
Number 3.
Okay, Steph, what do you think?
I'd probably say somewhere around there, yeah, 3 or 4. Okay. I mean, I know the rookies are going to be a bit more chased than Bartolo Colon, but that'd be my guess. Yeah,
so the top 5 cards are all rookies. Number 5 is Ozzy Albies for a little over 14,000, just a shade over 14,000. Number 4, Shohei with almost 21,000. He was early on. He was early on in the set, so it was right before everybody started taking off. Gleber comes in. Torres comes in a little over 28,000. Juan Soto comes in number 2, and number 1 was Ronald Acuna with almost 47,000 cards sold. It's crazy. So the total print run on all the Topps Living cards, just under 400,000. We're at 396 and some change. Almost 40,000 cards sold this last week. And again, if we're talking about gross revenue based at $7.99 a card, where they've gone over the $3 million mark. They're at $3.1 million. That's just an estimate, but of what they've sold so far in the Topps Living. Let's see if you guys can name the top teams with the most cards in the set so far. We're counting this week, so there's 48 cards now that'll be in the set. Can you guys name who the top 3 teams are?
Well, I know the Yankees have 3 because they've had Torres, Judge, and Jeter. I think the Braves have had 3 too, if I'm not mistaken. I could be mistaken on that one. I know the A's have had 2. I think the Brewers have had 2. The Rangers only have the 1 with Cologne.
Yeah, Stephanie guesses.
So, having broken down all the sets this year and all of last year, I would guess Yankees, Dodgers, Cubs. Top 3?
So there are 13 teams tied at number 3 with 2 cards.
Okay.
That was kind of a trick question for you guys, but yeah. Number 2 were the New York Yankees with the 3 cards, and number 1, the Atlanta Braves, 4.
Well, that's because Hank Aaron's is the headliner this week.
Hey, spoiler alert.
I am sorry. It's a nice looking card.
Spoiler alert. We'll get there. I have a couple thoughts on that. So, there's 33 current veterans in the set, 11 current rookies, and 4 retired players. So, and then also last week came out Star Wars Last Jedi Series 2 and the Panini National Treasure Soccer, which I don't collect soccer, but holy moly, there are some killer cards coming out of there. And if you can get into a break, if there's any left, get into one, because the secondary market is really flush with these cards and they're hot.
National Treasure, I'm telling you, if I personally had to rank my top products across all manufacturers, National Treasures by far would definitely be top 3. I don't know if it's number 1. I suppose it's, how long ago did I have the card in my hand? But National Treasure is just phenomenal. It's not a surprise at all to me that, with this being a World Cup release and all the excitement around the World Cup, again, it's like playoffs in other sports where people are kind of fair weather fans throughout the season, but once the NHL and NBA playoffs, MLB playoffs, they start, all of a sudden everybody becomes a fan. All the fair weather fans become much more diehard or, seasonal, so to speak. So it doesn't surprise me at all. National Treasures is an absolute beautiful product.
Yeah, even go ahead, Steph.
Yeah, I was just going to echo what Ben said. National Treasures, if you're going to talk about basketball, you're going to talk about baseball. If you're going to talk about it on soccer, it's just a gorgeous set. And quick side note, for Topps Living, I ran the numbers on the top 5 produced, they all rookies. If the entire set retail at $7.99 sold $3.1 million, those 5 rookies alone have sold almost $1 million. 905,000.
Wow.
It's interesting to look back on the number Tim threw out for Ohtani, because that was released before his injury.
Yep.
If he was released now, let's assume that injury is still current. I imagine that number would be at least doubled, because it's not a very expensive card if you're buying it directly from Topps, or you can find those on the secondary market on eBay for $5 to $6 a piece with free shipping. So I would imagine a lot more people would be jumping on it. I think his number was hindered by the fact that it was, I believe, week 2 that he came out. And with that being said, he just, not everybody was aware of that product yet. And that's kind of what in my opinion, hampered his overall print run.
No, definitely. And going back to the soccer stuff too, if you guys don't have the deep pockets it takes to get National Treasures, find some of the Prism stuff. It's still pretty affordable, good looking card. Always been a fan of me if you're a Chromie. You like Topps Chrome or any of the Prism stuff that Panini releases. Good looking set, fun to get into. I'm not a huge soccer guy, but I know like my buddies and I'll pick the country and going back and forth and rooting. And so that also brings people in. And two, if you just have a few bucks, the stickers. Like the Panini's going to sell $1 billion worth of stickers over this time period, and they're cool. I like the stickers. I mean, they're neat. So when my son gets old enough, that's one of the things we're going to do is the sticker, baseball and hopefully football together. So we want to hop into hot off the press, the new releases for this week, because there's a lot. We're going to start off with our fave here, Topps Living. for this week's got announced today has been leaked earlier. Card number 46 is Hank Aaron, Hall of Fame outfielder for the Atlanta Braves. Card number 47, Jordan Hicks, rookie pitcher for the St. Louis Cardinals. And number 48, Kevin Pillar, outfielder for the Toronto Blue Jays. Again, as always, I will be targeting Jordan Hicks is because I'm trying to grab all of the rookies. But I think the Hank Aaron card, you're right, Ben, fabulous.
It is. I'll be interested because Pillar and Hicks are. I don't necessarily know that they're the weakest secondary and cards that we've seen as far as a group of three go, but they have to be amongst probably the least sought after. The Blue Jays, Cardinals. I mean, the Cardinals, have an amazing following, so I would imagine Hicks will sell well. It wouldn't surprise me if he doesn't come close to Hank Aaron. I think when we look at the print run next week, Hank Aaron's probably going to be in the 11 to 14,000 on the high end. I personally would be shocked if it exceeded that.
Well, Jackie was he was in the top 6 or 7, and I believe he was in almost the 18 range. So
you're going to see about a 30% drop off. Hank Aaron is completely undervalued when you start to get into the veterans. I mean, Hank Aaron has always, when you talk about the top 5 living or top 5 baseball players of all time, despite the fact that Hank Aaron holds a lot of records or is top 5 in a lot of records, home runs, RBI, hits. I mean, the man could do it all. I don't understand why he's so undervalued and why history seems to kind of forget about him a lot. So to me, I don't think this is going to be the strongest week, but it is a beautiful card. If you're a veteran collector, a Hall of Fame collector, you're a Braves fan, it's definitely a nice card to get. It's a fantastic painting of him.
Okay, I'm sorry. Jackie sold a little over 13,000, which still did put him right behind Aaron. He was just about 100 behind Aaron Judge. So they were 6 and 7 respectively.
11 to 14 might be a little high. I mean, I can't see Hank Aaron outselling Jackie specifically because Jackie tends to sell much better. Plus, he's card 42. And
yeah. So my question is, why didn't they make card 44 Hank?
Well, because it was 40, 42, 43, 45, right? So I'd put Jackie and Hank in the same print run.
No, it would have been 39, 40. No, sorry, 40, 41, 42. So last week was 43, 44, 45.
Yeah, he would have been last week.
Okay. So he would have to be last week.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Well, yeah. So it's good. I'm thinking about the Hank, but I'm definitely grabbing Jordan Hicks. I mean, the one guy still needs Reese, but I don't feel like $60 to $80 at this point on that one card just because I missed out when I could have bought it for $8. Kind of hurts the soul. But going on, Stowe, we talked in detail about this last week. I think we'll go into a little bit more about this product this week. And then again, and I heard Doug Caskey from Mojo Break saying this is the product that really got him starting into collecting in 91. And it was one of the products I shared with my dad that we did when I was a kid. Is 2018's Top Stadium Club gets released today. Just under $83 a box per blowout. You're getting 16 packs a box. You're going to get 8 cards per pack. You're going to get 2 autos per box. You're also going to get a chrome card, 2 black foil parallels. If you've not seen those, look sharp. You're going to get 1 Beam Team insert, which was always one of my favorites, and then 2 each of the other inset sets that are in there. So you're going to get a couple of those. So you have a 300 card base set. And the images. Have you seen these images? Mm. This is a part I want to pick right here with Ben. Ben liked one of the images, and I thought it was stupid.
I tweeted yesterday as a lot of these cards were coming out. As products always do, 24 to 48 hours prior to the actual release date. And I picked out just a couple of my favorites. Of course, there was a Homer selection or two. I loved Matt Olson and Matt Chapman's, but the one that really jumped out at me first. And Tim's a collector of Giants cards, was Will Clark. I saw that, and growing up in the Bay Area,
yeah,
and there was the big rivalry, of course, the Battle of the Bay, the '89 World Series, and being a big McGuire fan, Will Clark was on the other side of the Bay. So when I saw the Will Clark one, I was like, that's a good looking card. And we can talk about the Stadium Club photos all day long because a lot of them are fantastic. And Carlos Gonzalez is kind of diving for a ball and the mitts covering his face.
Well, let's talk about the card you and I disagreed on.
So I mentioned this, I believe, last week when we were talking about Stadium Club. The Clayton Kershaw card that I saw on the sell sheet was an over-the-shoulder photo of him pitching. So you're seeing it from the batter's shoulder perspective, basically like from the umpire's perspective. And the one that popped on eBay that I saw, which I now know is a photo variation, is him kind of in a crouched position, receiving a ball from his kids. I'm assuming, I don't know if they are his kids, but there's two kids, one throwing a ball and then a little girl sitting there on the mound. And I thought it was a really cool card. It's a neat photo. And then, of course, somebody, if we're naming names, you decided that that wasn't a cool card, and you called it, a gimmick card, which, okay, well, it's not a mascot card from opening day, so it's not necessarily a gimmick card. You just hate Clayton Kershaw because you like the Giants.
Oh, no. I respect Kershaw's a good pitcher. He just can't win the playoffs. No, I think it's the play on the kids with, there's so many good images that they have in Stadium Club of action shots. Like the one you talk about, Will Clark is in the, he's got the bat. I saw an Ozzie Albies autograph one, and he's in the dugout and his helmet's off and he's grabbing his bat and he's got his old little fro going, and it's just a neat looking card. Like he's getting ready to go out and do some damage with that bat. And like the Bo Jackson breaking the bat over his knee. Just cool looking cards, and then there's this one, and it just, to me, doesn't fit the set. It's a great picture. Don't get me wrong. I have a son, and I'd love to have a photo. It's like back in the day when they had those '90s cards with the guys with the big giant cell phones. I remember Todd Zeal was one of them. It just doesn't fit in the set. And if it was inserted in series, if an update or series 2 and flagship or series 1, that's something different. To me, it doesn't fit. It feels forced. And what I don't know, Steph, what do you feel about having kids in the photo Stadium Club?
So actually, I'm going to agree with Ben for once. I do kind of like the Kershaw card. Okay. I haven't seen much of the actual base set. I just looked over the short prints. And from what's out,
let's get into the short prints.
Sure.
So there's always image variations now, and per Brent Williams earlier in the couple, like yesterday, he was getting one for every 109 packs. There's 259 packs, he said, per case, I guess, doing per his numbers here. The short print code ends in 67. So if you're looking on the back window, if you have a short print down the little bottom, and as of we came on the air, Ryan Cracknell of Beckett Media, he had 32 short prints listed, or photo variations listed, and Georgia Brett's got one. I haven't seen it online yet, so I'm hunting. But let's get into that stuff.
Sure. No, I was just going to say that the Kershaw is one of my favorites, as well as the Mookie Betts with the flag behind on Fenway's Green Monster, I presume. And my third top, if I were to make an argument for it, was the Verlander, where it's from a slightly 3/4 above shot where you can see his grip on the ball, getting ready to chuck it. Just a gorgeous looking short print.
The beauty of this set for anybody who's listening that's a set collector, especially if you're not familiar. I mean, if you're familiar with Stadium Club, then you know what you're getting into. For anybody out there that likes to put their sets in 9 pocket sleeves and put them in a binder and enjoy flipping through them, Stadium Club is by far the perfect set for you, because it's expansive enough to where it's going to fill a decent binder, but the photos are just different. You're not going to see it in flagship. You're not going to see it in any other product, Heritage, any of the other major sets that are aimed towards set collectors. This one, it doesn't matter if it's a base or a short print. I mean, as I was flipping through eBay, just kind of scrolling down, looking at all the different pictures, I'd say 60 or 70% of them are fantastic. 20-30% just kind of seem like they're stock photos, nothing too special. But a decent amount of this set is predominantly just, they're different. They're cool photos. I forget which player it was. I think it's AJ Pollock. Is an aerial shot, much like the Verlander short print, but I believe he's sliding into home plate, and so it shows him and the catcher. It's just a neat picture. You don't see that The old style upper deck used to show a lot of that too.
Yep.
If not on the front, on the back, because it had that secondary picture. By the stats, you'd see, different photos. That's why I personally like this, and I really love looking through the short prints. Unfortunately, going off of Brent's odds, it seems like they're going to probably sell between $40 to $100 a piece, at least at the outset.
Yeah, and the one thing I like about it, the little bit thicker stock, you get a little gloss to your card, so it feels like a higher end quality card. And there's a great mix of retired players, Hall of Famers too, veterans and rookies in there. So I mean, you're not getting stuck with, with 300 cards, you're getting a nice variety of players past and present. They also have those chromes. There's a 90 card chrome set, so they took 90 of the cards and they chromed them. There's even parallels of those with refractors and a couple of one-on. There's gold minted ones that are like one per case, and then obviously superfractors. But they have 93 auto subjects this year. I was watching a few breaks, and tends to be a little bit of rookies, but there's 5 parallels they have in there. The orange one out of 5 is only retail. And so just to let you guys know about that, they also have chrome autos, which they brought down to 76 cards, and they're all out of 10, and those have superfractors. There's 5 base insert sets, 5 auto sets, and then all of them have tons of parallel variations. So it's one of those, if you're a player collector, you can definitely, you have your one guy, you're going to go out and probably get quite a few versions of the same card and build a nice little rainbow. Even if you do like a base rainbow, you'll be able to create something kind of nice and pretty to look at, which is always a fun thing. But again, some of those chase cards or those short prints are going to be hard to track down.
It's definitely something you're going to want to wait for. We've talked about this before with all the parallels. To me, it was one of those ones where I was actually telling my wife right before we started the show tonight. It's frustrating as a team and player collector when you're almost rooting against there being a player on the checklist. As Ryan Cracknell of Beckett was, in Cardboard Connection, we're both starting to find these short prints that were populating. There was 2 names, 4 names, 6 names, 8 names, and I was like, please don't put a short print photo variation of the A's. And then I was looking for my guy McGuire in the black foil and the sepia and some of those. I don't think the sepia will come out till next week because it's a retail product. So we got to wait for the blasters to come out. But all of a sudden there's a photo variation. And I'm like, son of a gun. There's $50. And the first one popped for $60 or best offer. It already sold. I don't know what the final price was. But if you are a team or player collector, just go ahead and expect that $50+ give or take is probably where you're going to be at least over the next week or so, until enough of these populate to where there's a competitive market, which in theory should bring down that price a bit.
Well, one of my things is it brings up a good question kind of about all sports, and I want to ask you guys this, why it's in my head. Is it better to buy in the off season? So right now we're in the off season for football. It's starting to ramp up, but going back and getting 17 product, going back and getting 16 product, or basketball's ended and we're kind of post draft. We're not quite into free agency yet with basketball. So is now a time to run down and say, okay, like, hey, I'm going to go start collecting Kuzma or Ball or, De'Aaron Fox or any of those rookies from last year in the offseason. And in baseball, just kind of wait, keep a list of stuff. And then in December, hop on November and December when baseball's quiet and football and basketball are taking off, hop in there and buy those parallels for cheap.
I would make the argument that as a team or set collector, if you're not looking for the limited parallels, the number to 5s, the number to 10s, the short prints, if you just want the base set, absolutely. Somebody's going to compile the complete base set for this price. Somebody's going to have the team sets for that price. Definitely the route for you to go if you want to go that route. But if you want, like Ben was saying, the foil variations, the colored border variations, now's the time, unfortunately.
Yeah, I've got to agree with Stefan. This is going to be a trend that I don't think either of us are going to be happy with on the same show. But I was looking up some McGuire parallels from the past few years, and there was one that jumped out at me from 2014 called Future Stars That Never Were. And they took famous rookie cards throughout the last 30 years, and they put the future stars on them.
Yep.
And I grabbed the Cespedes, but I didn't grab the McGuire and Canseco and Henderson for some reason. And those are not very common. And there's I think a Henderson for super expensive on eBay right now. Sport Lots doesn't have them. And I thought, why didn't I grab those back then? So anyhow, to Stefan's point is, yeah, if you want any of this low numbered stuff, you're going to have to grab it now because it's not going to be available down the road. If it's just a base set or a base insert, non-numbered, that stuff will be readily available all day long. And yeah, you're going to want to grab these guys when they're not hot. Matt Olson last year, I was buying his cards for $2, $3, $5 a piece. Then all of a sudden he's hitting a home run every other game, and now his cards jumped into the $20, $30, $40 range.
Yep.
The other day, Franklin Barreto hit two home runs, both 3-run home runs in the same game. They made a tops now of it, and I'm like, great. Here we go. Now everybody's going to jump on the Barreto bandwagon, causing A's fans who collect the team and the players. And I use that as an example because that's what I collect. We can make that argument for all 30 teams. We all can agree with what Aaron Judge was doing last year. God forbid you were a Yankee fan, because there was a Topps Now card every day.
Yep.
And you could see Shohei Ohtani was heading the same way before the injury. And now it seems like anytime Acuna sneezes, he might have a card.
So real quick, so would you say now is the time to go get Shohei's? During the season, he's down.
Somebody was selling 2 base cards of his for $2 a piece the other day. I don't know what the market was prior because I don't follow him close enough, but I know that they weren't $2 a piece a month and a half ago. Yeah, if you're a collector of any sport, off season is when to go get it. You want a Bryce Harper auto, you want a Mike Trout auto, you want the Jason Tatums or Leonard Fournette's, any of the big names. Definitely go grab them in the off season, because what's going to happen is you're going to want a Leonard Fournette auto, and he's going to go bust 200 yards against the Steelers, and everybody's going to want to go grab his autos. Why? Because he had a good game. It's the same reason, like unfortunately, when guys pass away, everybody throws their stuff up there same day and tries to capitalize on their death. I think we got into that a couple weeks ago.
Yeah. Well, I want to move us on because we got a lot of new releases to cover this week. The next being Topps Inception, which I think last year was the first year they ran it as Topps Inception. Before that, it was Bowman. And you can get a box for about $74 a blowout. You're getting 1 pack per box, 7 cards per pack. You're going to get 4 base cards in there, 2 base parallels, and you're going to get 1 auto or 1 auto patch. If you happen to be lucky enough to buy a case or get into a case break, they're going to guarantee you 4 auto patch cards in a case, 1 silver or gold signings, and also 1 auto jumbo patch. Just to note, this set was scheduled for, I believe, early April release. So there are no Shohei Ohtani base, Gleyber Torres base, or Acuna base. I know that Shohei has an auto and an auto relic card. An auto relic and an auto relic card in there. You're going to have a 100-card base set with a ton of parallels, like 7 colors, printing plates. They have 10 auto subsets. Most of those have parallels. And, you get a thick card stock. I'm a little disappointed again because there are no Royals base cards. I know they have some autos, but really, just you can't throw in 1 or 2 guys in a 100 base set. We talked about this last week. Guys, any thoughts or any updates on Inception? We did go into a little bit detail of it last week.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Seth.
The set is what it is. If you're looking for the auto without carrying all the extra base cards, it's the set to get. You're going to get your hits, and you might get a base card or 2. Not a set for me. It's kind of like the opposite of Stadium Club, I'd argue.
Definitely breaker friendly.
Yes.
It's a nice alternative to Museum Collection, which I'm sure you're going to mention here shortly.
Yep.
It's a little less expensive. It's a nice alternative to Bowman Chrome because it's a little bit more affordable. The imagery is phenomenal. I was looking through all the A's players. I went ahead and picked up a couple of players so far and got my base sets out of the way. When I came across it, I got to the blue color. Anybody who's going to buy this product, if you tell me that the blue isn't your favorite, man, the only problem with the blue parallels, though, at least on the autos, is they're numbered out of 25.
Yeah, no, the base are numbered out of 25, I believe.
And I was like, son of a gun. I was super. I mean, when I saw the blue, I was like, being an A's fan, I always hope for gold and green, of course, parallels. But when I saw the blue, I was like, because one of the corners on the base cards is green. And so the green on green, of course, is nice for an A's. But the blue on green makes a phenomenal match. So for me, it's like, do I dive a little deeper into the pocketbook to grab a couple of players in the blue? Because it's just a phenomenal looking card.
Yeah.
If this is a set for you, and Stefan mentioned, it's not necessarily up his alley, it's solid. To your point, Tim, when you're making a base set of 100 cards, if this was me, if I was running Topps or Panini and I'm limiting my base set and you have 30 teams, immediately you write the 30 cards, right? Just like an all-star team. If you're a Royals, you get Moustakas because he's the most well-known player at the moment for that team. Unless you're going to do veterans, and then of course it would be George Brett. And then after you do 30, then you can do whatever blend you want. If you want 4 or 5 Red Sox and Yankees, but give the teams that often don't get a lot of love. It was the Astros a few years ago before they started getting hot. Right now, for whatever reason, it's the Royals, and it seems like the Twins as well.
Well, maybe that means we're going to go on a World Series winning, or another World Series in the next few years. Yeah, no, it was just a little disappointing when you have 100 cards, you can't get one in, but not a big deal. Like I said, it's not really a set builder set, and that's kind of or a team builder set. That's what we really are. It's a breaker set, which is great. I love it. I mean, it's hit base, so I always it's one of those autos. Yeah, you can get because if you're going after in prospecting a little bit, it's always a good value for at least the base autographs. I know that at certain LCS, like I can go in and buy them for a couple bucks when just an average guy at the time, put away in a few years. It's a $10, $20 card, but it's affordable because it's not the first Bowman Chrome, but it's got a good design. I know I picked up a couple Nick Gordons a while back from that and paid like $3 for them because it wasn't a Bowman Chrome auto that was his first one. So you brought up. Oh, go ahead.
To me personally, the Bowman Chrome is just kind of a blah product. Yeah, it's the most sought after, but it's just, and oftentimes it's photoshopped, with the image having, the team on it. Inception, like it or not, collect it or not, is a good looking card. The artistry on it is phenomenal.
Oh, yeah.
And you're going to be able to pick up a lot of the moderate players, whether they're some of the veterans that have you maybe got 2 or 3 years in. A lot of the autos can be had for $5 to $20, depending on who they are. The bottom 80%. And so if
it's
you're
underrated.
If you're looking for good value, your local card shop, or you're like if you're just a collector and you just want a good looking autograph and you don't have an affiliation with a certain team or player, go grab them because you're going to be able to nail a lot of those. You can probably spend $50 and maybe grab 10 to 12 of them. If you don't care about who you're getting, you just want to collect nice looking autographs.
Yeah, it's an underrated set, and it's one of those too that you have guys trying to go after the big names in there, and they're busting boxes and boxes or cases of this stuff, and they're trying to recoup some of that money on eBay. It's a good set to go after and to stockpile a couple autos and put them away at guys you like, and maybe that you can't afford the their best version of an auto, but you can go get one of these. It's a good deal. You brought up Topps.
Just real quick, correct me if I'm wrong. They're all on card too, are they not?
I believe so.
I didn't see.
I saw a couple. Oh yeah, I didn't see any stickers so far. So
for people that won't buy sticker autos, this is another good product to kind of gear towards.
Definitely. You brought up Topps Museum, and I'm going to bring that up now because it releases Friday. Museum is always gorgeous to me. You're going to look about $179, $197 a box on Blowout. You get 4 packs per box, 5 cards per pack. So not a ton of cards, but your box break's going to give you 4 parallels. You're going to get 1 on-card auto. You're going to get 1 auto relic, which most of the time I believe is a sticker because of the relic. 1 prime relic, 1 quad relic, and a canvas collection reprint. In a case, you're going to get the framed auto, which I always have loved. And then you're also going to get 1 auto jumbo relic. And I know too the canvas, the original canvases, I believe, are in there as well. They're one of ones. And if you're lucky enough to get one in a pack or whatever, a break, they're amazing. Again, we have a 100-card base set. There are 74 of the framed autos. The canvas collection, like I said, original one-on-ones are in there. They also have the jumbo lumber bat nameplates, one of ones, and there's 91 subjects in there. They have 13 auto subsets, 10 relic subsets. So there's a lot to get in there and get from this product. Usually, a majority of the time, you're getting some patch. You're getting like 2-color, some one color stuff, but a lot of it's 2-color, or it's got some seams in it. You guys gonna go after any of your guys in this, or have you in the past?
Museum collection, it's a gorgeous set, but it's definitely one that, as a cheaper collector, I look for at the national or local shows where someone's already broken it and they have the Byron Buxton for $5-10 because it was a lower hit in the box. I'm perfectly fine with that. Yep. They can sell their Ohtani, they can sell their Bryce Harper, they can sell their Mike Trout, and I'll take the $5-10 hit relic out of it. Gorgeous cards, I have a few, but that price tag, it's a bit pricey.
It's right up the alley with for anybody who's not familiar with baseball cards in general. To me, it's right in line with triple threads and tribute, just right underneath tier 1 and 5-star. To me, I forget, museum collection has been around for a few years now. There was another product that it used to be, Stefan, you might remember, that they discontinued, I think around 2013, 2014, that became museum collection. Do you recall what that was? It was a slightly lower end auto set, and then they tried to rebrand it, brought out museum collection, and tried to make it a step up.
They've tried to do a few of those. There was Bowman Original. There was, I want to say museum collection started in 2012, 2011, yeah. Somewhere in that effect.
I think it was 2012. I hopped
2012,
in.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, it was a rebrand of another product that they had discontinued to bring it out. Just like,
someone can tell us. I'll give somebody a prize or something. I'll pull a auto or something out of my box here. Someone can help Ben with his knowledge. So send it to us.
That's why there's 3 of us. We're between the 3 of us.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I just don't remember the name because my pockets went very deep.
And I think it was one of those ones where it was more of a $100 product, and then museum came out as a rebrand, and then it became like a $200 product. To me, museum is nice. For being a higher end product, I personally prefer like triple threads and even tribute. That's just personal. But all the museum, I mean, I'm going to grab the guys that are on the checklist from the A's. I'll be happy with the cards because it's nice stock. It's just, to me, it's a repetitive product. And if I wasn't a completionist where I've got to have everything I can get my hands on, this would definitely be one. Personally, I would probably sit out in favor of keeping my money towards triple threads, which I believe comes out in August, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. But
I think that what stands out the difference in this, though, is those framed relics or the framed autograph cards and the canvas ones, the original one-of-ones, if you're lucky to grab one. I think that's what makes this product a little different. But the thing is that Steph's right on this, is that the best time to get this product is on the secondary market. I mean, it's a breakers product because you're going to be able to get in and get your team or get into a random for, a pretty good price, less than what you're going to probably pay for a box. Okay, and you're going to get a shot at a bunch of cards. But the secondary market's where this at, because I've seen guys open boxes of this and they spend, the $200 or $250 if the box got hot, and they open it and they're pissed because their auto is a Jordan Hicks rookie, right? Just for example, so say this year a Jordan Hicks, and they're just like, who's this dude? And they got a relic of Jose Batista, and they got a Matt Olson relic, and they're just kind of like, where's my Jeter? Where's my Judge? Where's my Bryant? That's what they're looking for.
The best card out of there's a $39 auto relic of Matt Olson, or fill in your
good player. Yeah. And so now that's when we sweep in and we reap the benefits of this, because this guy was the one that took the gamble. he thinks he lost. He turns around, dumps it, or just hands you the cards. I've seen that happen.
Yep.
Here, take this. I don't want this trash.
When I got back into the hobby in 2010, 2011 came out with Tribute. And in that year, they were silver. I think there was a double relic on it with an auto, and they were all really nice. And they were $50 a pack. And at that time, to me, that was insane because just got back in the hobby. And 20 years earlier, you're paying 50 cents for a pack, and you're not really familiar yet with autos and relics and parallels and the purpose of that had developed in the meantime. I think we're all kind of in that same boat. At least I know you and I are, Tim, where, you took a 20-year hiatus. It's a whole nother ballgame when you get back in. I mean, yep. I had to sit down with our local card shop owner and just tell him, all right, give me a crash course. What are numbered cards and what are relics and what's the purpose and how do they hold value versus base cards? And so with Tribute, I couldn't justify spending $50 on a pack, but I really like the autos. And I believe you got one auto in a pack. And I saw so many packs being opened with just these $8 to $10 autos that weren't anything special. So I hopped on eBay and probably spent $100, but I ended up with 15 different players. And at that time, I wasn't collecting just A's. I was collecting anything that I thought was cool.
Yep.
And so I was able to gobble up a ton of these secondary cards. And to speak to what you guys, to basically, reaffirm that is, if you're not into the breaking model and you don't have the wherewithal, for the financial means to go out and buy a box, if you're just looking to grab some stuff on the secondary market, there's going to be a ton of it for people that are looking to just break even and get their money back. And you're going to be able to gobble up a ton of low end stuff. And if your budget is $200 and you want to buy a box and gamble, by all means. But you can take that $200 and you can grab a ton.
Oh yeah, it's definitely one of those where you can sweep up and kill it. That Saturday or Sunday when people are going crazy and they're just trying to get dumped and move on to the next product, like we are here. Yep.
One other thing, just real quick, while we're on this topic, I can't believe that they didn't push Museum back off this week. And move it to next week because
everything coming out.
Something's going to get eaten up. They
didn't move it to next week because Wednesday is July 4th, and I think the July 4th weekend had to do something to do with that because Wednesday is the worst. I mean, I love July 4th; it's always one of my favorites. But on a Wednesday, like you don't get the day off or day after in most cases, and then your week. So it's in between the weekend, and I think it's kind of a lost week this next week. We're going to get into that here. And I mean, I think they could have pushed it out 2 weeks, but then you're running into the All-Star game and some other stuff coming out.
Well, and then you have Platinum that they're dropping at some point in Walmart's that
we're
have a date.
Just spoiling all the show here, Ben. Thank you. I appreciate it. Hey, I want to get to a couple other products that we have out this week. 2017-18 Panini Encased.
That didn't happen.
Encased basketball released today. $215 a box. 1 pack per box, 5 cards. You're going to get 1 graded auto from Beckett, 1 additional auto, and 2 mem cards. Most of the time, they're a 9.95. Hopefully with a 10 auto. Good looking card, I think. It's there's the autos. There are a lot of like gray and black tones to it. So to me, it looks like a Seattle, February morning. Product highlights again: 100 card base set, parallels. You have 6 mem subsets, 8 autos subsets with tons and tons of veterans and rookies. And I kind of want to cruise along here too. Donruss 2018 Donruss Elite Football released today. $125 a box, 20 packs per box, 5 cards per pack. In this one, you're going to get 2 autos, a mem, 3. You're going to get 3 guaranteed rookies. We're going to talk about that. 6 parallels and 8 inserts. There's a 200 card base set. 100 of them are vets and 100 are rookies. And the reason you're getting 3 rookies a box is that they're either numbered to $3.99 or they're numbered to $6.99. And it's weird because Lamar Jackson's $6.99, but Josh Rosen's $3.99. It just kind of depends on, I think, what quality of a rookie they think you're going to be at Panini. But it showcases them all in their new NFL uniforms from the rookie premiere, which is cool. And so there's not a lot of card autos on this though, unfortunately, because They had to take the pictures, and when they were taking those pictures, they were also signing all the stickers to put on here. But it's an affordable, great start product, way to kick off the season. I mean, we're just here in almost till July, and they're releasing this product. It's a great one to go out and get. Tons of parallels in this set for you guys to go after of all the vets and base. Like I said,
you had a strong quarterback class. There was were there 5 quarterbacks taken with Lamar Jackson sneaking in at the end of the first.
Yep, and then again, you have 12 auto subsets that all these guys are in. And real quick, I want the most interesting one that out of all those 12 that I would look for, and is the status autos. And so what's cool about those, they're numbered to the player's number. So for example, Zeke Elliott's status autos are numbered to 21. But they also have aspiration autos, and those are the difference of the player's number from 100. So his aspiration autos are to 79. So if you're a Cam Newton guy, right, his status auto is a 1 of 1, but he's got 99 aspiration autos. Tom Brady, 12 and 88.
Yeah.
I like it. I think it's neat.
I like the idea for the parallel, yeah.
For somebody like our friend Tanner Jones, who collects nothing but Canseco, that would be fun because his would be 33 and 67. So if you're a player collector, this is when a set like this, when you have that mesh of all the cards are going to be numbered to 100, but you're going to split 2 separate sets with different numbering. To me, that's awesome, especially if you're a guy, being a Spurs fan. David Robinson makes it really easy, right? Because he was number 50. So cool. I can get one of each, both numbered to 50, and life is good. But yeah, anybody who, if you're a Yankee fan and they did something like that and you're trying to get your veterans, oh boy, that top 10 is going to be, a nightmare. But
this is football.
It is football. Okay.
so Marshawn Lynch, he'd be 24 and was that 76?
So what's going to be difficult, because the most sought after players in football, of course, are always going to be quarterbacks, and then any offensive players that are rookies. And so what's going to be difficult is if you're a quarterback guy or you're a prospector, the one set is going to be the status set's going to be tough because a lot of these guys wear single digits.
Yeah, I think Jackson is going to wear 8, but I think the rest are in doubles.
Yeah, it's just fun. If you can manage to get both autos, maybe guys like Newton are going to be tough. But if some of the quarterbacks that wear double digits, like the Brady's and whatnot, I think it would be fun to be able to have these side by side.
Yeah. Quick correction: Baker Mayfield's going to wear 6, so he'll have 6 and 94. Steph, what do you think?
I love the idea for the parallel. I'm sure the brain trust behind those are patting themselves on the back on the idea. Yeah. The autos, Elite and Elite Extra Edition for baseball anyway, has always been one of my favorite sets to break. So I can see that one getting a lot of traction with breakers and set collectors.
Yeah, I saw some breaks today on it. The cards look great. The base cards look really cool. I have a neat design, a lot of colors and angles in the design. So one to check out. So I want to move to what's brewing, what's coming out next week. Guys, we're not going to have a show, so I hate to disappoint you next week because we're going to be celebrating the 4th of July. But do want to cover what's coming out next week. So one of my favorites, something I'm going to pick up that I haven't picked up in a long time, coming out next week. Topps Complete Factory Set of Series 1 and 2 will be out. I'm going to pick that up, put it away for my son. So he does have that. Also, 2018 Topps Definitive comes out. Both of these are on 7/6. So that's that Friday of 4th of July weekend. And then, as Ben spoiled it earlier, Bowman Platinum sometime in the next 2 weeks, Topps tells us. And this was a couple of days ago. So the countdown begins. Walmart's only. So now Target is bye-bye, Target. We don't care about you anymore. We're moving on to Wally World. No prices listed yet on those. There's 3 types of packaging, though. Unlike the mega boxes that were Target exclusive for $14.99 and selling for God knows what for a while there on eBay, which they never made it to Sacramento. I'm telling you right now, they never showed up in town, but it's okay. I'm over it. Don't really care now. There's 3 types of packaging. So there's a collector's box, which is 20 packs per box. You get 5 cards per pack and 2 autos. There's the value box, 7 packs. This sounds like a blaster. 7 packs a box, plus one 4-card pack that has iced foil board parallels, and then they're going to have fat packs, not the podcast, but they're going to have fat packs, which are 12 cards per pack. Again, we're on this right here, 100-card checklist that features vets and breakthrough rookies, 10 image variations of key players in the base card checklist, parallels. So there are a ton. There's the ice ones, the ice foil board that are value boxes only, sky blue, which are going to be in the fat packs only, the orange, which are out of 25 in the collector's box only. Then they have purple, blue, green, red, one-on-ones. So there's a lot, and you can't just buy one and try to hope to get all of them. You're going to have to get into all the different packaging and offerings, or go online and do this. And I kind of want to slide into Infield chatter here with this product and just kind of touch base really quick on retail only products. So we look at this at Mega Bowman, the Bowman Mega Tops, and the Tops the Bowman Platinum and Walmart only. Does this drive you guys to buy retail or go into retail to go to these places?
Not at all. What about you, Steph?
No, same. And it might just be that the twins are underrepresented in the set, but no, I mean, if I'm going to buy a pack from retail, I'm going to go to a store and see what they have more than specifically going there or the other place. Okay, and then now is it good for collectors? Because my thing is the value on this. So then you have a bunch of guys, arguing back and forth about on Twitter, which is that's just what Twitter's for. But theft and tampering are big concerns of mine on these products. And then to the LCS, and now I know not everybody has an LCS nearby, and the only way that they can get product is through retail. But I don't know really how I feel about it. It's not a Bowman Platinum, take it or leave it with me. It's one of those things like, I don't know. I just hope it doesn't lead to more long-term, stuff going straight to retail and bypassing, and you have to go battle everybody there and go to Walmart and fight the people to go down that card aisle, and it's just torn apart all the time, right? So
if I remember correctly, Bowman Platinum was discontinued 2 years ago, and they weren't going to make it, I believe, in 2017, maybe even 2016, and then all of a sudden they announced like the day of, oh hey, this is a Walmart exclusive, and everybody's like, really? Where did Platinum come? Because it was a relatively popular product a couple years ago when Billy Hamilton was a rookie, I think like 2013. Darvish is at 2012. Is that 2012? Yeah. They had the blue sideways. They were all, the landscape view. They were a really sharp looking product. I have a ton of them out in my garage right now that need to find new homes, but they discontinued that product, and then it became a retail only. Yeah. The issue with retail only, and I'm going to bring up something unrelated to cards, but it's still sports related. I collect McFarlanes, and McFarlanes are also something that the collectors, they have chase variants. Yeah. The problem is Toys R Us in the day that Toys R Us still existed. Oh, man, you'd have quote unquote collectors show up at 8 o'clock in the morning, wait till 10, and then they'd go in there and grab these chase variants and throw them up on eBay for tons of money. I'm sure Funko Pops are like that now, and
Hot Wheels, brother.
Yeah, Hot Wheels. You have all these, to the point where places, retail outlets like Toys R Us now all of a sudden limit one, which sucks for an actual legitimate collector that's going in there trying to get these for their personal collection. And there was a picture the other day that somebody on our timeline, my timeline, posted a picture of their local card shop, and it looked ridiculous. It was, blaster after blaster, all the different blasters that have been released over the last year, piled sky high. I mean, this guy must live. He's probably connected to a vendor to where he's just buying it directly from the back door. I saw that, and you can. I know, like if you go to Dave and Adams and you go to Blow Out, at some point in time they offer cases of blasters, and you can. They also go to retail and stockpile this stuff for later on, and a lot of that stuff. There was some new product in there, but there was a lot of old Bowman stuff in there. And if you go and buy it and hold on to it, and then turn around and be able to sell for, just look at the value packs from 2011
Tops where they had like a couple of packs of update in there, and those things are going for hundreds and hundreds of dollars.
I'm sure, but let's be honest. Is that local card shop? Did they go to Dave and Adams and buy them? Probably not. I don't know what
because it depends on what distributor maybe they're working with. I saw that, and it is what it is. I don't blame them for trying to sell retail in their store.
I don't either, but it's one of those things like, retail is available for people that don't have local card shops, and nobody, it's supply and demand, first come first serve, right?
Yep.
How many people were buying the Bowman Mega boxes from Target, and they'd buy 30 or 40 of them, spend $1,000, and then they're trying to mark them up to 40, 50, $60 on the secondary market, and it is frustrating. There's nothing illegal against it. It's just frustrating.
Yep.
But like you said, now you have the other issue, which is the fact that people go home, they open it, they refill it with stuff from their collection that's, whatever, just enough to fool the Walmart or Target associate. They reseal it and they return it. They get their money back, and they've literally stolen all the cards out of it.
Yeah.
So buying retail blasters is a risky proposition because you don't know the authenticity of what's inside, unfortunately.
And that's kind of the way it goes now. And it's one of those things that, it's always going to upset some people, but you're never going to make everybody happy, and that's where we're going to be. I do want to bring up another topic. Mr. Harden, James Harden, the Beard, wins the MVP this week, along with Ben Simmons being named Rookie of the Year. So it brings a couple of interesting topics, a little more sports talk related, but we're going to bring in the cards here. So does winning one of these awards, an MVP or rookie, does that increase a player's collectability, like popularity, card value, auto value to you guys? Steph, what do you think?
In practice, definitely, at least of the Rookie of the Year. It kind of gives the rookie card some added value. Whether it actually on the market establishes that's a little bit different. I mean, you have a few years where like Houston Street wins the Rookie of the Year, and nobody wants an Oakland A's card. Not of a pitcher, not of a relief pitcher, or Eric Gagne.
Both times we agreed, just went right out that window. I mean, you backed up the truck, you put it on the truck, you loaded it, you took it to the dump, and you dumped it.
Well, no, that's like, what was it, Brogdon, the guy from Milwaukee that won it a couple years back?
Yep.
Brogdon.
No one was really rushed out to collect him. But I mean, does it change the fact? So like Harden, who's a veteran, who wasn't originally drafted by the Rockets, was on the Thunder. Are you rushing out to get his rookie card without a beard in a Thunder jersey? Because now he's the MVP.
Not really. Here's the thing: Rookie of the Year, I'd listen to an argument that there might be a 15 to 20% bump on collectability and price. MVP, the thing is, who's won it the last few years in the NBA, right? You're talking Durant and Curry and LeBron James and now Harden and Westbrook. These guys are all on the radar. So for collectors, you're already after them, right? If you look at baseball, if it's Harper, if it's Trout, you're already after these guys. Does it raise their prices? Maybe. I don't see non-collectors of these players all of a sudden jumping on them. It'd be different, I guess, if a rookie all of a sudden, let's say that DeAndre Ayton or Marvin Bagley or any number of the guys that were just drafted this week decided to have a ridiculous year, a video game year, and trumped everybody, and they came out with 40 points a game, and I can imagine a lot of people jumping on that bandwagon.
Yeah,
like we were talking earlier with baseball, where guy gets on a hot streak and all of a sudden everybody wants to prospect him. But in basketball, in football, Tom Brady wins another MVP this year. Rodgers wins another MVP. Are we going to say that all of a sudden they become more collectible? I doubt it. Maybe a slight uptick the week of, because you're going to have a few more people wanting to go grab a couple of cards, but I don't think you're going to create long-term collectors as a result of a 5, 10, 15-year veteran winning an award, even if it's the first time in Harden's case. And, he shouldn't have won it anyway, so I guess there's that.
Okay, that brings me to a question, though. Who should win the MVP? Hold on. And so I got a couple things here. The best player, okay, so back in the day, Jordan was definitely the best player. the best player on the best team. So, like Durant or Curry, right? This year, just as an example, or the player that had the best statistical season. How do you decide if you have a vote for the NBA MVP?
I've long
how would you vote?
So the NFL has the best offensive player. You have an MVP. I think all leagues should have that. You should have a separation between the most valuable player and the best offensive or most outstanding player. Okay. Last year, Russell Westbrook, again this year, averaged a triple-double. That's ridiculous, right? That's Oscar Robertson. But neither year was he the most valuable to his team. The Thunder last year, when he wins the MVP, were what, a 7 seed or a 6 seed? So he wasn't the most valuable. This year, if you look at LeBron James versus James Harden, LeBron James in every statistical category that matters outperformed Harden.
Plus, he played 82 games.
Yeah, exactly.
And Harden played 72. I saw the thing on ESPN. He beat him all across the board.
Yeah. What you're getting is league exhaustion. There was a lot of narrative this week talking about Harden was owed this. This was his turn. Westbrook got his. James, who's the best player this side of Michael Jordan, definitely the best player we've seen over the last 15 plus years. Hasn't won one in 5 years. Are you kidding?
So what's your answer? So who should, in your opinion, who wins?
LeBron James.
Okay.
Here's the best player. Here's the best argument that I heard is if you take, Harden was the best player on the best team this year because the Rockets had the best regular season record. And then you have to say, well, he also had Chris Paul and he had Clint Capella. You look at the Warriors with their foursome of super players and all-stars. And then you say, okay, well, then LeBron had, an injured Kevin Love, who wasn't healthy all year. But, yes, he's an all-star when he's fully healthy. But the question is if you took, all things being equal, you took LeBron James and placed him in Houston straight up for James Harden, I almost guarantee you Houston wins more games and probably wins a championship, whereas Cleveland probably wins less games with Harden there in place of James. Yeah. Correct?
Yeah. So, Steph, how would you decide MVP?
So it's not for NBA, but here's my argument for MVP in leagues. I like what hockey does. They have a trophy for the leading goal scorer, the Maurice Rocket. They got a most valuable player. They have a best centerman. They have a best defenseman player. That way it's not just, well, this person was good and he was owed it this year and he had good stats, so let's finally give it to him. It's exactly. You top the leaderboard. You're the best defensive player. You're the best overall player, which, naturally Gretzky would have it, but he wasn't exactly the greatest scorer. So Lemieux or any number of the other players in the 80s and 90s would rack up the top scorers championship. How do you value which one's more? Well, I mean, it depends whether you want like the hot shot Ovechkins who can score 50 goals a year, or somebody who can pot 30 and 30 assists. Well, which one helps win the team more? Who's a better locker room player?
Exactly. If you took the best superstar off of every team, regardless of sport, that should help determine who the most valuable is. Yep. That's where the definition is valuable. Who's the most valuable to their team?
And that's why it makes such good sports talk too, when these come out like this, because hands down LeBron would probably win MVP like for a decade straight, and I'd be okay with that because the man took a garbage team to the finals and he just didn't have anything left. I want to move on real quick. So who should win the Rookie of the Year? So we had Ben Simmons win, who was drafted the year before. He was the first pick of this 2017 draft, sat out the whole season, or 16 draft, because he sat the whole season with the injury for 16-17. He comes in 17-18, wins Rookie of the Year. Now, Embiid sat out 2 seasons, came back and finished third because I think he only played like 30-odd games that year. And then you have David Robinson, who won Rookie of the Year in 1989 because he sat out 2 seasons to be in the Navy, he had a commitment there. But all of these guys here were, either one or in the top, top couple spots for the Rookie of the Year, do you think they should be eligible for Rookie of the Year because they didn't play any games at all? But do you think they should have been eligible?
I'm glad you brought up Robinson. Okay, I want to set him aside for a moment. I think that Donovan Mitchell should have won it this year because he was a rookie this year. Ben Simmons was a second-year player. So the reason, yes, I'm a Spurs fan. I don't want to, I'm setting Robinson aside because he had a commitment to the United States Navy. And that was known in 1987 when he was drafted first overall by whomever got him.
But it doesn't matter for Rookie of the Year.
So, but the thing is, you have a personal commitment that is going to delay your rookie year. So his rookie year wasn't lost due to injury like it was with Simmons, like it was with Embiid.
Or Blake Griffin.
It was Griffin, it was set aside because of a prior commitment, much like if a team, drafts and stashes a player over in Europe now. When they first come over, Robinson's rookie year was not 87, despite the fact he was drafted. It was 89. Ben Simmons' rookie year was last year. He was eligible to play. Had he not got injured, he would have played. It's bad luck. With Griffin, with Simmons, with Embiid, it's bad luck. They should not be eligible.
But Robinson should.
He should, only because it was a prior commitment, much like, if you're drafting and stashing a player over in Europe who, who's going to come over in a year or two. Bogdan Bogdanovic, who played for the Kings last year, is a guy who they had drafted and had his rights prior. He finally comes over. He's now a rookie because it's his first NBA season.
Yeah. Now, real quick, Steph, what's your thoughts on this? Because I want to kind of go off of Bogdan there real quick. But Steph, what are your thoughts? Should they be allowed to win or be eligible to win the Rookie of the Year?
Touching up on a point Ben said, but going opposite. If it's their first year in the league, not to put down the other leagues, like in baseball or football with the college ranks, the level of competition in the NBA, NFL, MLB, and hockey are much higher than the colleges, the Euro leagues, the Japanese leagues.
So they should be. So Luka Doncic won the EuroLeague MVP. This is my point. This season, he won the title, was the league MVP. He's coming over as a third pick. Went to Atlanta to the Mavericks, which I think is the stupidest thing. They can't trade picks ahead of time, but whatever, NBA. Thank you for being the most confusing draft ever, because then you announce it 5 picks later. It's just stupid to me. Fix the rules, make it right. But he's going to be in the league this year as a rookie, but he's played 3 or 4 years as a professional. He was the MVP of a league, right? That's maybe not as good as the NBA, but it's definitely better than the D League. So he's going to come in and have that experience. I just think that it should be something thought about. I want to also turn it back to Japanese professional baseball in their first major league season. Shohei this year, of course, he's probably not going to be in contention due to the injury, but Ichiro, he won the MVP his rookie season, which is great because guess what? He was a professional for X number of years, and I have no problem with him winning the MVP. We also won Rookie of the Year that same season, 2001. If you've played professional sports somewhere else and you've gotten paid to play them, and you play there for a certain a number of years, and you come over and you're new to this league, I can see how you could be eligible. I just don't see why you should be eligible.
See, and I'm probably going to contradict myself because I was having this conversation, I think, with you the other day, Tim, and a guy like Ohtani aside, he's 23 years old. But then you have these Japanese relief pitchers that come over at 31, 34, and they spend a couple years, and they're officially technically eligible because they're rookies to Major League Baseball, despite the fact that they literally had a whole career. So
the guy in Seattle, what was his name? The relief pitcher that came over and just dominated. He won a couple years after Ichiro, and I believe he won Rookie of the Year.
I think he was 31 or something, 34.
Yeah.
And so I guess when you talk about MVP and Rookie of the Year, there needs to be a unilateral definition, whether it's all leagues adopt the NHL style where you have the most valuable player and you have the most outstanding player. However you want to say, okay, Rookie of the Year, what makes you eligible? If you've had a call up in Major League Baseball with so many at bats, you then, in your first full season, may be ineligible to win the award because you've already qualified for being a second-year player officially.
Yeah, Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah. So you have this issue of there's quite a few players that unfortunately, because of September call-ups, prevented themselves from being eligible the following year. What defines a rookie? Is it a guy? If a guy gets injured, Embiid, say he spent 5 years injured, that sixth NBA season officially, is he still rookie eligible? Or is he a 6-year veteran that had a string of bad luck? So I think each league needs to define that, because, I have a serious problem with a 31-year-old guy being eligible for Rookie of the Year who spent 13 years in Japan. And, you can start to get into the political side of things where they've got to serve in the Japanese Navy. And it's gotten a lot easier over the last few years for these players to be able to come over to America. But, when Ichiro was coming up and a lot of these, Kentai Suzuki, or was it? No, Kaz Matsui, excuse me, with the Mets. He was another one of the first guys that came over.
Well, Kaz Sasaki was the relief pitcher I was thinking about. He came over. He actually won the year before Ichiro. He came over in 2000. He was 32 years old and won Rookie of the Year. No, it's one of those things. Like, I don't feel that, you play those professional sports and, you spend so much time over there that you come in here and be eligible. It's always.
I guess you could argue, what's the difference between a career minor leaguer, being 30 years old, and he comes up and has a flash in the pan season. He spent 12 years in America playing as a minor leaguer, which is still professional. He's still getting paid. So that's where you're starting to argue the semantics and have to really define clearly what identifies a rookie. Is a first-year injury in the NBA just bad luck? And, oh, well, sorry, Blake Griffin. Sorry, Embiid. Sorry, Simmons. Or do you say, well, you were injured in preseason, so your rookie year gets delayed until you officially can play, whether it's 1 year or 3 years or 5 years.
Well, folks, it's come to that time where we need to wrap it up. But we'll go ahead, Steph. Did you have a question? Something?
No. I was just agreeing with you.
Okay. I do want to hit one last segment, which is my favorite one. It's a quick one, the spotlight. We want to spotlight some great Twitter follows. I'm going to let Steph lead off tonight with his mention.
Sure. So I've been following him for quite a while. My recommendation for the week is the home of the Cheap Wax Wednesday, Shane Salmonson. Every Wednesday, he posts a blog post on Twitter at Shane Salmonson with his box break of the week. So some months he'll have a theme month where he has minor leagues or baseball, football seasons, but he shows each pack, whether that has just a generic junk wax set or if he buys a box of Inception. And it's kind of cool seeing each and every week getting pinged and reading his blog post on what he posts.
Shane's a good dude. Really like Shane.
Yeah, good one. Ben, who's your follow this week?
So a young lady who I think is a tri-friend of ours. We all follow her. We know her well. Her name's Jenny Miller, at Jenny Miller 521 on Twitter. She's been a great fan of our show thus far. She's been very supportive and tweets out on her own timeline about, hey, About the Cards is a really good podcast. You guys should give it a listen. So we really appreciate her friendship and her support, both on a personal level as well as, from the show. We definitely thank her, and she has all of our gratitude. She's great for the hobby. She has a lot of, if you're into lower end cards, just collect your favorite teams and players. She's always running dime sales just to kind of move some inventory. And she's also a Twins collector. First thing she said to me when I started following her is, hey, I'll trade you all my A's for all your Twins. And I'm like, sorry, all my Twins are long been spoken for by Stefan. They're all earmarked for Texas. She's a Miguel Sano fan, so if you have any Miguel Sanos lying around, I'm sure she'd be more than happy. If they haven't already been committed to Stefan, she'd be more than happy to take those off your hands. But she's a great gal and a good follow.
Yeah, I think the 10-cent, a lot of the 10-cent stuff she was doing recently was going to a local charity. She was raising money for, which is awesome. Yeah. And she has a really interesting story, and it's for her to share. But if you get to know her a little bit, she'll give in and what card collecting does for her in her personal life. I think it's amazing. We made a trade months back, and the beginning of the year, and we found each other on Twitter, and she sent in the trade. She sent me this big long letter. It was really touching, and someone you need to check out. And we need some more girls in the hobby, right? I think it's awesome.
It's great, and honestly, this hobby should be shared by everybody of all ages and genders, and good people. That's what we're ultimately after in this hobby. This is our hobby for everybody. It doesn't matter what you collect and how you collect and how much money you have to spend. Buy what you want to buy, but it's good to have a community of card collectors who enjoy the same hobby. We all share a common interest.
We all do it for a reason.
Huh?
We all do it for a reason. We have our own reason and our own way to collect, and there's nothing wrong with that. So,
and that's what's fun is we can also give each other a hard time about how you collect versus how I collect. And at the end of the day, Tim and I were at a card shop the other day. We went out to lunch, and we're two 40-year-old kids standing side by side. Hey,
not there yet.
One for you. My 4-year-old son pulls a card out of a dollar box, and it's a Barry Sanders, and he goes, "Dad, you should buy this." And I'm like, "Nope, I don't collect that." But you know what? I mean, of all cards for him to randomly hand me, I'm like, Uncle Tim does, and Tim will probably buy it. And so I think you ended up going home with that Barry Sanders. But it's fun, and that's what it is we're all a bunch of grown-up kids collecting. A lot of us started collecting as kids, and it's fun, and it's good to meet good people regardless of where you're located in the world and what team you follow. And it's fun because we can give each other a hard time because it's not coming from a place of anger or hate. It's coming from a place of love.
Yeah. And and the thing is, if you're not having fun, I worked at Best Buy for a long time, and a long 10 years, but my thing was for a long time working there was if you're not having fun working here, then you need to find something else to do, because we're selling, we sold TVs and we've sold fun experience, and most of the stuff in there except for appliances really are wants and they're not needs, and it should be exciting to help somebody do that. And card collecting to me is the same thing. So if you're angry and pissed off and mad and frustrated collecting cards all of the time, now a little bit of the time, yeah, I can understand that, but all of the time, maybe you need to look at starting collecting something else. Right, or doing something else with that time and that money and that effort, because this is fun to me, and it should be fun for everyone to do, and it's a thing to take us away from all the real world stuff that's going on, all the crap that goes on in our daily lives at work, personal, whatever, to sit down and go through and hunt through dime boxes, or to make trades on Twitter, or to sit there and organize a set or whatever it may be.
Well, see,
that's what this hobby should be about.
The beauty of somebody like Jenny, and she fits right into that same group as like us, is we, Tim, the other day I handed you a shoebox full of Giants and Royals and Barry Sanders cards. I don't want, right? I've got a stack of stuff to go to Stefan once we get around to finally going to the mailbox. But the other day I posted on Twitter and said, hey, I'm looking for a specific Mark McGwire relic. It's roughly a $20 card out of pocket. And this guy's like, I've got one and I don't need it. In fact, I think Jenny was the one that connected the two of us because I wasn't following him at the time. And he's like, I got it. What do you have that is Braves? And I'm like, I've got 500 Braves cards as a lot listed on eBay for like $25 right now, our best offer. And I think it was like 300 cards is what I told him. I was like, I'll gladly send those to you right now if you'll send me the one McGwire. And he's like, all right, cool, done. Let's exchange info. We did. And then I sent him another message, said it's actually 500, not 300. He goes, man, you don't have to send me all those. And I'm like, no, they're going home. That's kind of how it is. The way I look at it was those 500 cards mean absolutely nothing to me as a collector. It's not what I collect. That's why I was selling them. They're going home.
And I did the same this week. I did the same this week. I was going through and I'm kind of cleaning up and organizing my stuff. And I have 2 shoe boxes full of football and baseball autos and relics and stuff, and I've pulled out the ones that I kind of want to keep that I've pulled or for my teams, and so I put it out there and I said, hey, these are up, and I've sold some because they maybe just wanted to buy them off me, which, hey, it's fine, but I've also started making some trades for some vintage tops and cards I need, and somebody's like, hey, I'll give you these 10 for that one. Hey, done deal, here we go. It's great. My Twitter follow of the week is at Cardboard Icons, Ben Aguirre. He did write for Beckett Media as a freelance guy for a short period of time. he's a really good follow. And the reason being is when I first started getting into Twitter and following people in the hobby, he was really supportive, really good guy. He has his thrift store finds. So he goes to local thrift stores and comes up with crazy stuff. The biggest one was he found a game-worn Earl Weaver jersey, and then he actually went to the National in 2012 in Baltimore, got Earl to sign it, has the picture and everything, and then unfortunately, a year or so later, Mr. Weaver passed away, and he wrote a touching story in it, and he just the way he collects, he collects rookie cards of Hall of Fame players, which kind of inspired me, and that's how I really started to kind of get into now. Oh, let's collect some vintage stuff. And some are great. He's into tobacco and stuff now, and he has them on his wall. And he's a big Kershaw guy, and he wants one of every Kershaw card, but not two. And then he sells or trades the rest away to get more Kershaw cards. So he probably appreciates that one that I don't. But he's a great follow on there. And so I would definitely do that. Guys, I appreciate it tonight. Everybody listening, we've gone a little over again like we do, but I hope you like the content that we're providing. Remember, we're live every Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Pacific Coast time on YouTube. Like I said, we're skipping next week to celebrate the 4th of July. But make sure to subscribe and review to our show on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, soon to be Google Play. You can follow us always on Twitter at About the Cards. You can follow Ben at Our Trading Cards. It's OUR Trading Cards. You can follow Steph at Junk Wax Twins. And again, you can always follow me at Big Shep 79, and also too on BigShepCards.com. Getting ready to update some stuff on there. But guys, thank you very much, and I will see you in 2 weeks live here, and we'll have a lot to talk about. Then I know we'll probably we'll have 2 weeks of Topps Living to go over, which will be exciting. And guys, have a great night, and thank you.
Yep, absolutely. And stay safe, everyone. Don't blow yourself up.
Yeah, no Jason Pierre-Pauls.
Just like the damn Kershaw card, just buy it.
No.
That's not go halvesies. Just buy it. It's going to be a part of your PC.
Exactly. As a set collector, if I got that set, I would take that one card out and leave it out.
We already said buy. Just buy the card. Good night.
Good night, everybody. Thank you.